Hi golfers, I'm sure a lot of you out there are like me. You've got that go-to driver either still in your bag or in the shed or the boot of the car that when you lack confidence, it's the club you go to. Darren today is going to try and prize that club out of my hands. So what club we're going to look at today?
Well,
Darren?
firstly, it's virtually impossible to get that thing out of your bag anyway.
True.
But we're going to give it a go with the Mizuno JPX850 Driver, which has been having some fantastic reviews on various websites and stuff like that over the last couple of months since it's been launched. What we're going to do, we're only going to mess around with the head in terms of the weights and the loft. We're going to keep it as a standard stock shaft, and we're going to set it up exactly for the first 3 swings, the same as Richard's driver, which is a 10.5 stiff. We got Richard to hit 3 shots with his driver, and the stats were as follows. Club head speed was 103, ball speed was 158, launch was 15 degrees, spin was 2,900, carried and overall distance was 255. So very impressive results, but the real impressive one was dispersion was 15 yards. This is why it's your go-to golf club, because it's a fairway finder.
Yeah, I mean that's the little shot that I play. That it's a hill cut or a baby fade, whatever you want to say, and I don't swing particularly hard on it. But that's the shot that will always find the fairway for me, especially if I'm lacking confidence or under a bit of pressure.
Okay, so the first 3 swings, what we did, we left everything neutral, and by neutral with Mizuno, the weights were right in the centre of the golf club. So let's have a look at Richard's 3 swings. Right, so with the club, how we set it up for Richard, the stats were fantastic off the bat. Club head speed was 104, which was an increase. Ball speed was 163, which was an increase of 5 miles an hour, which is fantastic. Launch was lower at 13.2. Spin was lower at 2,650. And the overall distance was 264. So nearly 10 yards straight away. And that's without even tinkering with the head, just setting it up as 10.5 stiff standard.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, that's a driver I've heard a lot of noise about this year. Saying Mizuno are now in the driver category, and they are. It feels good, it looks good, and you say that those numbers there, where you see my average on my driver is 103, the average on that one was 104, but you're gaining 5-6 yards of club head speed, ball speed.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
That to me shows you that the design, is an improvement straight off the bat.
The impressive thing as well was dispersion was a little bit wider than yours, but obviously it's a golf club that you're trying for the first time today. Yeah. Dispersion was 24 yards, so again it's still a fairway finder.
That's still in the fairway, yeah, as you said. It feels good. I just can't. I gave it as much as I haven't hit it before, and obviously my driver is always going to be something I've hit thousands of golf shots with. I felt confident from the first swing.
Yeah.
It's almost that eyes popping out your head scenario. Yeah. You're like, what?
So we could tell that Richard was confident from the driver. So what we did, the first tweak we made was to push all of the weights forward. We're basically lowering the centre of gravity. Lowering the spin of the golf club off the face. But also what we did, we tweaked the loft up a tiny bit as well. So the stats from those 3 were really, really good. So let's have a look at those swings. So you've just seen Richard's second lot of 3 swings. The averages from those were again impressive. Club head speed was 106, so it increased again. Ball speed increased again to 167, so that's another 4 miles an hour, sorry, Rich. Launch was 13.3, so very, very similar. Spin was 100 RPM higher at 2,750. Distance gain of another 5 yards, 269. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we've gained 14 yards off of my club that's 4 or 5 years old. So and not only are we seeing that distance gain, just between the setup change, we've gained 5 yards from just tweaking from the setup that was similar to my club to what you thought kind of reflected from my numbers. So that's everything I was looking for in distance. There's no I mean, what I'm looking for is to be able to hit that go-to shot and gain. I was thinking maybe 10 yards to gain 14 yards. On average, that's people underestimate how big that is.
So something had to give. It wasn't just win-win with the driver at the moment with the first tweak that we did. Dispersion was a little bit wider at 36. Obviously, it's one of those things, but
And I'd expect that. You know, I'm not expecting to gain distance and keep it still laser straight. You know, you've got to expect that the further it goes, the dispersion is always going to start to sort of funnel out.
Yeah. So Rich was happy with the distance gain. I wasn't too happy with the dispersion increase. So what we done another 3 sets of swings. Let's have a look at those, and then we'll look at the stats. Right, so that was Rich's 3. What we did with the last one was basically move the weights to the outer of the golf club, therefore increasing stability. So we put the loft back to 10.5 as well. And the stats were as follows, which were fantastic, and it made good reading as well. Club head speed 105, so right in between the first 2. Ball speed was a little bit lower, 161. Launch angle was 13.6, very, very similar to all the rest of them. Spin was 2,750, same as the previous one. Your overall carry went down by 9 yards on the last tweak to 260, but the impressive thing was dispersion equaled yours at 15.
Yeah, which is, I mean, what that gives me is not only, like, obviously we can get into messing around with shafts and stuff if we need to. This is the stock club, but just with the stock club, I could take that club now, and I could not only have that set up for me and how I want it, I could even change it depending on the competition I'm playing in. You know, to know that if I'm playing on a longer golf course and I need the extra, or to, in my mind, think I'm going to gain 10 yards by tweaking it to this setting, but then if I'm playing, you know, a links course or whatever, I can then bring that back down, still gain yardage on what my old driver was, but have exactly the same dispersion. And this is a club I've only spent an hour or 2 hitting against a club that's been in my bag for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That's, to me, is what more could you want from a golf club?
So we know just by looks alone that the Mizuno driver would go into your bag in seconds.
Yeah.
But would it stay in your bag?
I think it would. It sounds like it's too much of an infomercial, but that if you're someone that likes Mizuno, or if you're someone in that boat the same as me, you're looking for a gain or control, which I think we all are, I wouldn't buy a driver this year without at least trying that somewhere first.
Perfect. I don't think I need to say any more. So Richard certainly doesn't, because the stats have talked for him. Hopefully that's been of some help to you. If you've got any questions or queries, just contact us via the website, and hope to see you soon.